This is Moments with Foo with James Foo Torres, better known as Foo, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Moments with Foo is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Foo.
Hello and welcome to Moments with Foo. I'm your host, James Foo Torres, but you can call me Foo, hence the name of the podcast. And today I have the president of The Financial Coach, Inc., which is Rennie Gabriel. So I'm going to let him tell you more about that. But first, Rennie, how are you?
I'm terrific. Thank you. Great to be here, James. Or do you want me to call you Foo also?
Yeah, Foo is what I go by. It's what I like the most. But, you know, whatever your preference is.
You got it.
Thank you. So, let's just kick it off with a quick introduction. Tell us about what do you do and why?
Okay. Well, I support people how to handle money on a foundational level, meaning it's not all the fancy tips and techniques like doing covered call option writing or highly leveraged real estate. It's the actual foundations. And the reason I do it is because I found that's missing from almost everyone's education. They don't get it in school. They don't get it from their parents. And it's the foundations which create wealth that could be sustained as opposed to making money easily and then having nothing left over.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's like the common saying, like teach a man how to fish and he'll eat forever. Just giving a fish and you just eat one time, right? So that's the power of, I was listening to Alex Hormozi, one of those videos and I heard this from a lot of people.
Yeah.
That is the fact that if like the thing that wealthy people give to their kids that is way more valuable than the actual money that they give them is the education on how to not just trade money for time. It's more like how much value can I get for the time that I'm trading, because everybody has the same amount of time every day, right? So it's how you leverage that time to make the most out of it.
Exactly. I'll give you an example. Barbara Staney wrote a book called Prince Charming Isn't Coming. She was the daughter of one of the H&R Block founders. And when she got married, he gave his daughter a couple $1 million worth of stock. And she didn't know anything about how to handle money. She assumed the man does. He lost it all because he didn't know what he was doing. And this happened to her twice, and 2 divorces. And by the time she's in her 40s, she realized, you know what? I'm going to have to figure this out. Her dad gave her money, not an education on what to do with it.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Like, it's not just I need to get money. It's just I need to be smart about the money that I get and how I get it.
Yeah, and I'm talking about, this is one of the H&R tax founders. I mean, we're not talking about someone who doesn't know how to pass this information on to a child.
See, they just simply didn't do it.
Right.
That's the problem, and that's why education it's very important, and that's why I like doing things like this, because now hopefully somebody can listen to this and be like, damn, like I gotta make sure that I pass on what I know, or even get them prepared with other people that even know better than me. So definitely that's something very important. So if now I kind of want to ask you a question. So what would be an advice then that you will give either to business owners in general or to your younger self if you were to restart this journey?
The advice, I don't know that I would have taken it because when I was young, I was a latchkey kid. So I figured, I'm responsible for taking care of myself. Parents aren't going to be there. No one else is going to help, which is BS. The advice I'd give to my younger self is that if you want to create wealth, it's a team sport, not a solo sport. You don't do it by yourself. And I didn't really understand that it was okay to ask for help until I was in my 40s.
Wow.
So that's probably one of the most important lessons. That is how I've ended up creating millions of dollars of net worth. It's not doing it by myself.
Yeah, I completely resonate with that, because for me, I mean, I've been in business for just over 2 years, and the reason that I've been able to achieve success is because of the communities that I'm part of, the people that are in my network, the support group that I've developed of people that I can contact in any moment, and those people that surrounding myself with people that either are living the life that I want, or they have the knowledge that I want, or they're doing some certain techniques that I want to apply into my life or my business. And those just surrounding me with those key people. Usually I'm the youngest in all the rooms that I go. And I love that because I'm learning, right? Like I'm learning from everybody, and I bring things that I actually teach them too. So like I being a master of PR, right? Like just focusing on that, being able to just get to the rooms to become the PR guy, and then learn about all these other things in those rooms about just business in general or very specific things. And yeah, so that's why this resonates with me a lot, because I mean, I'm a testimonial of it. Like I literally am doing it. Like the reason that I do things that I do is just because I'm not doing it alone, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and one of the funniest things that I realized many years ago, I've been teaching at UCLA for over a quarter century, and I have learned more from the students who come into the class than I ever would have learned on my own, because you've got 30, 40 people who come into the class with different life experiences, read different books, met different people, and then when they share that in the class, I'm one of the beneficiaries of that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and that's why I love being part of community that hey, you are studying, this is what you live and breathe all the time. You're reading all these books, and then I'm doing these other things, and then we come together. I teach you my things, you teach me yours, and that way, if I want to go in depth, then I can read about maybe that specific part or just the book, but I already know that it's gonna help me because you already kind of give me the information. So I completely agree with that, and thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So now I want to ask you about a challenge that you've had throughout your journey. Could be in the beginning or just as soon as yesterday, that taught you something that you think is worth sharing with the audience.
The biggest challenge for me most of my life, and I would say probably all the way up until I was in my 40s somewhere, was that I did not know the foundations of handling money effectively. I didn't know how powerful it was to pay myself first. I didn't know how to do a cash flow statement. I didn't understand what to look for in a balance sheet and things of that nature. And by the time I was 50, I was divorced twice. I had a business failure, and I had to start all over from broke at age 50. But at least along the way, like in my 40s, I learned the foundations of money. And when I was able to apply that stuff, literally within 8 years, from 50 to 58, I went from broke to multi-millions.
That's amazing. That's one of the reasons that I got you here. I saw your tech talk, and after we connected on LinkedIn, and I was like, wow, like this is cool. And that story is a very like impacting in my opinion. So I was like, look, I wanna see what this guy has to offer to have some about the conversation for the audience, right? So thanks for taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome.
So so based on this conversation, could be something that we haven't even covered yet, or something that we have, but what do you think are the biggest takeaways that you want to leave the audience, which are mainly business owners or wannabe business owners or entrepreneurs?
One of the biggest takeaways is that too many people are told to focus on paying off debt, whether it's credit cards or student loans or whatever, before they begin investing. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about investing in their own business, investing in real estate, or anything. And it doesn't work. To focus on paying off debt first, I'll give you an analogy. Think of someone who is dieting, and think of someone who's lifting weights. And the person who's dieting, you could look at that as they're focusing on paying off debt. And the person who's building muscles is not focusing on dieting, but is instead focusing on building up their muscles, like investing. Will the person who's dieting build muscle?
No.
If you want to build muscle, you got to lift weights. If you want to create wealth, you've got to learn how to invest. Well, you know what? Let me put you on the spot a little bit, Foo. Let's say that you had no debt. You had no credit card debt, no business loans, no mortgages, no car loans. You had absolutely no debt. I'm not talking about anything else. If you had no debt, would you be financially free that you wouldn't have to work again?
No,
No.
definitely not.
Yeah, why? What's missing?
Well, like, not because I don't owe money, that means that I have money to keep living, right? Like, it doesn't, like, I need money to keep living. It's not about not owning. I mean,
Exactly. Exactly. So in other words, just because you have no debt doesn't mean you have the money or the assets to generate an income so you could buy groceries or pay for utility bills or have transportation. It still requires an income. And the only way to have that income is either because you continue working or you have assets that are working and generating that income. Being debt-free does not create financial freedom, and focusing on getting rid of debt does not create financial freedom.
yeah, I completely agree. And I love the analogy, and it's something that I'll keep in mind now, and I might use it a couple of times.
Give me some credit, okay?
I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit. Don't worry. And I'm gonna be talking about that because it's something that I believe. It's like I talk about it like different ways with a lot of people, and it's because, like, for example, if you have money and you can either like pay it here or then put it here to make money, if the interest that is accumulating because of the debt is smaller than what you're gaining, then why wouldn't you go to the investment, right? So as long as you're smart, and it's like, I'm just gonna put it in crypto, and then if it dies, like, oh, because could go away, or instead of like, oh, let me just put it on something safe that is building up more than what I'm paying, and then just make sure that you're making money other ways, right? Like, investing is cool, but then you gotta focus on making money first, so then you can invest and pay that and do anything really.
Oh yeah, actually, it almost doesn't matter, because I've got a chart in my award-winning book talking about, let's say you have a $6,000 debt and you can pay it off at $300 a month, and you do that, and in 2 years it's gone. And maybe you were paying 16-18% interest. And maybe on your investment, you'd only earn 8, 10, 12%. Even with that situation where the interest is higher than what you're earning on your investment, over time, you still end up with more money, because that 2-year delay before you begin investing can cost you a couple $100,000 in lost investment earnings just at $300 a month.
Wow. That's why, like, I guess there's a point that I was told similar to from a friend that he got me to, like, I'm investing now in automatic through like my insurance and stuff, and getting so that way it's like, okay, it's just building there, just a couple of $100, nothing crazy, but just go as automatic. And it's just that way it's like, look, I'm paying that, I'm paying all this stuff in here, but like, that's a couple $100 are getting invested every single month because of that, because I'm like, okay, I'm young, starting now, compounding.
Yes.
And that way, like, I don't want to focus too much. Like, I'm worrying about cash flow a lot and everything, but just a couple $100, right? Like, that I can take out for that, for my future self. It's something that can go a long way. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah, you got it, Foo. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah, like that's good. That's why, like, I love doing these calls or this podcast episodes, because it's something that I want to have this type of conversations anyway, right? Like, am I doing the right things? Am I just talking to the right people, having my right people around, having every single thing? Because there's so many things, right? Like, I want to grow my business. There's so many moving things, and I'm always like trying to learn on every single aspect of business in life. So it's cool to have a cool little chat that we can get value for each other, and also then just share with the world.
You got it.
So yeah, like, I just want to say thank you for taking the time, and I know we're busy individuals, so taking the time to add value to my audience is very I recognize that as like something very important, and something that I appreciate a lot. So thank you. Okay,
you're welcome, Foo. My pleasure.
So I know that there's gonna be some people are gonna be like, hey, who's this Rennie like guy? Like, he's talking about these things. I want to know more about his story, that going from broke to a multi-millionaire after 40, all that stuff. So how can people find you?
Easy. I've got a book called Wealth on Any Income. I've got a podcast called Wealth on Any Income. I've got a website called, guess what? Wealth on Any Income. I figured I built, by the way, this multi-million-dollar net worth while I was only earning $5,000 a month and setting aside $500 a month. Literally, that $500 a month produced a multi-million-dollar net worth because I did it correctly.
Wow. That was a big thing to kind of leave the audience with, for sure, because it's something to, like, you got me thinking. You're like, oh, like 5,000 is just 500. It's like super doable for like an average person, even if they haven't got there, maybe with their, even if they have 9 to 5, then maybe they can just do a side hustle to get to those numbers, right? So it's super doable. So this is very interesting, and I know that there's probably gonna be, I know there's gonna be some people that are gonna come. I'm probably just gonna have a conversation with you after this. So
yeah. So I mean, if they go to the Wealth on Any Income website and they /TEDx, they'll see my TED talk and find out how we've been programmed to be poor. And there's a 9-step roadmap, which is the cure.
Perfect. I love how you present the disease and then the cure. So this is great. I know more people should be like you, that is out there just trying to educate people and just have people to do better because of just being aware of certain things. And that's the biggest reasons that I love PR, because it allows me to amplify the impact of people like you that are like educating people, that are doing something good, and I can amplify that reach, through podcasts, through publications, TV, all kinds of different things. So, yeah.
You know what? One of the last things I should mention is that I'm not doing this for the money. I donate 100% of the profits from my books and programs to charities.
Wow. Didn't know, because you're set with your investments and stuff. So
Exactly.
all
So,
this,
people say, wait a second, if you're worth all this money, why are you doing this? So I can donate the money to animal and veteran charities. That's why.
wow, I'm a veteran, so that's something that definitely, and I love animals, so like that touches me. So thank you, Rennie. Thank you for taking the time. Really, I think this was very like short and sweet and packed. And now if we want to know more about you, easy to get Wealth on Any Income, right? So
Exactly.
You did a very good job there with that branding and that messaging, because it's pretty easy to find and pretty easy to, like, we don't have to spell it too much. It's like pretty easy, right? So I like it. I approve. So yeah, thank you one last time. Just thank you for this. And I just kind of want to let people with the thing that I always say, like, success for me is freedom and impact. So that's the every single thing that I do is it's for that mission. So how can I free myself and free others? How can impact more people to do more good? That's what I do. So and hopefully everybody that comes here is in that same mission. So anyway, thank you for this. And this is Foo and Rennie signing off.
Thank you, Foo.
Thanks for listening to Moments with Foo with your host, Foo. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.